I'm out exploring the Hayden Prairie Preserve. I am in Howard County, and the preserve that I'm at is between Riceville and Cresco. This happens to be the largest tract of native prairie left in Iowa. So today I'm going to give you a little history about this prairie and talk about the lady that made this all possible. And I've already been out looking a little bit. We're going to look at some shooting stars, some hoary puccoon, some bird's foot violets, just to name a few. There's a lot of wood sorrel blooming. So we're not going to really look at just one particular plant, but just kind of look at the neat flowers that are blooming here in during Memorial Day weekend. This particular prairie is pretty famous for shooting stars on Memorial Weekend. We're just a little bit behind. There are some shooting stars blooming. Probably be better next weekend. So if you just stay tuned, we're going to go out in the prairie. But I do want to give you one fun fact before we go out. Did you know that before European settlers moved here, 85% of Iowa was covered in prairie? And how much of that prairie is left? Well, stay tuned and I'll let you know. So I've been able to find a little bit thicker spot here where the shooting stars are blooming. I've been told that on a really good weekend or a good day, the whole prairie is covered just thick with these shooting stars, but I've just been able to find one really good pocket here. So I mentioned that the prairies used to be, 85% of Iowa used to be covered with prairie. And how much of that is left? Well, there is only 0.1% of the prairie left in Iowa. Not 1%, 0.1%. So why is this prairie here? Well, actually one of my heroes, Ada Hayden, is the reason why this prairie is here. 240 acres, that's just less than half of a section, has been set aside in native prairie land. So native prairie is land that has never been tilled. It might have been pastured with cows, but it's never gone under the till. So let me tell you a little bit about Ada Hayden. Ada was an Iowa farm girl. She was born in 1884 in a farm north of Ames. She went to school at Iowa State and graduated in 1908. And she did a little traveling, came back, went back to school at Iowa State, and in 1918 she was the first woman to receive a doctorate at Iowa State, actually the fourth person ever to get a doctorate at Iowa State. She then went on and taught at Iowa State for the next 40 years. So in the 1940s, Ada was concerned about all the native prairie being plowed up. It was all going under the plow, and she was concerned that we were going to be left with absolutely no native prairie. So she got a grant for $100, and that $100 was to be used for gas money, and she spent time traveling all over Iowa looking for remnants of native prairie, and she found 100 remnants left. And this one here is the largest one and the one that's been set aside, and it has her name on it. So it's been set aside since 1945. The state bought it for $42 an acre, and that was $10,000. In 1965, it was named the Ada Hayden Prairie, and it's been put on the National Natural Landmark. Now, Ada died in 1950, so she saw the prairie purchased, but she didn't know that it ended up being named after her. So here I found another little patch of the shooting stars. So a little bit more about Ada Hayden. She was inducted into the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame in 2007. And a little quote that they said about her was that she had a lifelong love affair with the prairies. And I really kind of like that. I feel very similar to that. She also did a lot of speaking and radio presentations on prairie preservation. So kind of feel too bad that she didn't have her own YouTube channel. So one last thought about the importance of prairies, or in particular this prairie here. Hayden Prairie is the home to over 200 plants. 100 of them are wildflowers. Also, over 50 birds have been observed here at this prairie, and over 20 different types of butterflies. So that just gives you an example of why it is so important that we preserve our prairies and our other wild places. So on that note, I'd like to encourage you to think about what can you do. Please consider joining conservation efforts by joining Ducks Unlimited or Pheasants Forever or the National Turkey Federation. Or if that's not your mode, how about the Iowa Heritage Foundation? That is an awesome organization on preserving Iowa land. So those are some things that maybe you could do, or think about joining your local nature center. So this is the Iowa Prairie Girl from the Ada Hayden Prairie in Howard County, encouraging you again to get out and explore those wild places. Please make sure you share my YouTube channel, subscribe, help my channel grow, and we'll see you soon. We're going to be exploring the wild geranium, and we're also going to be visiting that jack in the pulpit. So stay tuned for my next videos. This is the Iowa Prairie Girl from Ada Hayden Prairie.